Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Small Business Series. I'm Nicole Scott, and I will be your host today. And we're going to talk about marketing. I'm going to go ahead and open up you as participants to go ahead and speak to me if you would like. It makes it a little bit more interesting. You're more than welcome to leave your cameras off if you'd like. And we'll get moving. So first and foremost, I'd like to know if anybody had any questions in regards to last week's section. We started talking about the SWOT or the SWOT analysis, which is your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And what's awesome about the way that the business plan series is going is it helps each section get completed in your business plan. And when you're done, you will actually have a finished, completed business plan. And wanted to know if anybody had any questions, and to remind you that you are able to reach out to Kathy and I. You can reach out to Kathy at keller.k. You should have been receiving emails from her thus far. I'm going to put her email again in the chat box for you. All of the Small Business Development Center services are free. Kathy and her team do a great job on helping get small businesses up and running and started. And a lot of those businesses that are around here today are businesses that have worked with the Small Business Development Center here in town and are working on expanding and growing. And so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to get my screen ready to share here for you. And we're going to share the screen. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so I know that I have lost the majority of my control, so I'm going to say yes. So we're going to get into marketing strategies today. And my first question to you is going to be, what is marketing? And if you could turn off your mics and give me your definition of marketing, or you could put it in the chat box as well. I apologize, somehow that just came through. Yeah, quiet group today. So marketing is everything that you do to promote your business. It's from, it starts from the moment that you start to conceive it. So you're working on your business plan, you have a thought process now on a product or service, and you begin to market that particular business or idea now. And your keywords to remember, because last week, Kathy had mentioned your elevator pitch is everything on a regular basis. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have your pitch created, memorized, because you're going to use that pretty much everywhere you go on your product and service. I do have a couple of videos embedded in here, so we're just going to skip over those. That way we have time to answer questions in the end. But what's nice about what you did last week is we started talking about with our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities and threats, of looking at our competitors and how that's going to help you with your marketing and how they actually work together. So what do you sell? Do you sell a product? Do you sell a service? Yes, that may be your business, but is that what you actually sell? Quiet group today. So it's actually neither. You're selling the benefits of your products and services. And, to just describe the difference between those is like features are, let's just use a vacuum cleaner. So there's different sizes of vacuum cleaners, there are different varieties, there's just different qualities, types, they all do different things. And, some use a canister, some use a bag, some use water. So when it comes to the benefits, what will your particular vacuum cleaner or product or service that you're working on do for or give to your customer that is different than the others? So for instance, the rainbow sweeper. It uses water to catch the dirt and allergies in the basin, and it's also an air filter. It's an air purifier. So that is actually the benefit of that particular vacuum cleaner. So in order for us to do that, we have to sell the benefits. You know, that's the easy part. You sell what makes your product or service different and stands outside of all of the other ones. In order to do that efficiently, you want to do an overview of marketing. So first and foremost, you have to do your research, which you've already started. So you've started doing industry information, the trends, and how your business fits. So what that means is when you were working on your strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats last week, you were looking at industry information. You were looking at trends that are happening within your product or service, and trends within the industry, and learning how your business actually fits within the industry and the environment, within your target market, which is where you're targeting to sell your product or service. Okay. Since I just brought up the buzzword target market, this is a part of your analysis. So your customers, you started, what's interesting is you did a lot of the homework of this last week. So, who is your ideal customer? What is their customer profile? And if you go out and you research online, you can find these awesome sheets that will help you, they're free, that will help you define what your customer looks like. So I'm selling vacuum cleaners, and my customer is going to be somebody that likes to clean the house. I'm going to do residential sales instead of commercial sales. So I'm actually a business to consumer versus if I were doing commercial sweepers, I would be business to business, which is B2B. And with that, I am selling my vacuum cleaner to people that like to clean. Maybe they have allergies and, air sensitivity. So I'm somehow going to research and find this particular customer that, this, especially right now, this time of the year, allergies are up and at them, and we all want to open our windows, but we might not be able to because we don't want all the pollen blown in our house and making it dusty and things of that nature. So the rainbow sweeper then would be my product to sell to this particular consumer. And I am looking for, what ages, is that going to benefit? Well, people of all ages have allergies. So that makes it very broad. And I need to bring that down because, up until the age of 18, even though they're not purchasers, they have purchasing power, which they can influence their parents to make this purchase for the sweeper because they may suffer traumatically from allergies. Maybe they have asthma. Maybe, there's further complications there when it comes to your lungs and breathing and even your sinuses. So I need to look at that particular customer profile. I'm adding that. And then I'm going to say, we've already looked at our competition. So that's part of the matrix. We're looking at who else, whether it be here, it's Kirby, you got Shark, Hoover, who sells these particular places. So you've already done that with your weaknesses. And now you're going to look at your trade area, which creates your market size and the trend. So for instance, maybe you just want to start in just Allen County alone. So my customer base, where I'm going to find these people, my customer profiles, I'm just going to hone in on how many customers are in Allen County alone as a whole. And last week, Kathy had mentioned, your target market, and had also mentioned, what is your market size, your demographics. So this is part of that. And your demographics are age, race, religion, place of location. Buying styles, are they educated? What level of education? What level of income do they make? All of these are considered to be put into your customer profile to help you answer the rest of the questions that are coming here. So as you see on the screen, you have your trade area, which is, your market size and trends. So you're going to figure out what area it is. For this example, we're using Allen County, and we're going to look at how many people. There's roughly around 135,000 people in Allen County alone. And what are their trends? Like, what are their buying trends? Do they have, do they typically rent sweepers? How many sweep, you've done your SWOT analysis, so you could pull that information and say, okay, well, there's 6 different competitors in this area. Is there places to get this repaired? Are there places, what type of volume? You can even ask your competitors. Like, for instance, you could say Walmart, how many sweepers do you sell in Allen County stores? Because there's 2 stores in Allen County. How many sweepers do you typically sell in a month or even a year in Allen County alone? And they'll give you that information. A lot of that data is public information. And if you don't know where to find it and you can't find it on Google, you can always pick up the phone and ask them. So that's going to help you with creating your marketing plan. So with that being said, it's talking about positioning your product. And that's where, your location's going to be. Right now we're in Allen County. Are we shipping these around the country, around state, out of the country? So then we need to figure out what our packaging is going to be like, how we're distributing that product, what the price is going to be for our product. And we also, when we're thinking about price, want to include, all of these other factors, is shipping included in the purchase price of the product, and then you're saying it's shipped for free? Are you just selling it on Amazon and you're a Prime member, and all of the other Prime members, what are the fees that are going to occur within that? And then it comes with promotion. You also want to be able to add those things into a total package for your marketing plan. So now we're going to start with that. So first and foremost, we want to start talking about the features and benefits of your product, okay? The life cycle and seasonality. So, if I'm a lawn company and I'm doing landscaping, I'm here in Ohio, I have seasonal services, spring cleanup, getting ready, you got your spring flowers, and then you got to fertilize your lawn. Me personally, I put crabgrass remover on my lawn, get it ready. There's different stages throughout different seasons that, depending on what I like my lawn to look like, would determine how my lawn care business would function. And then, of course, what happens in the fall and the winter. Maybe I'm switching from landscaping and lawn care to snow removal and snow and ice removal. So you see a lot of people that have landscaping companies, not only do they plow snow, but they also salt driveways and parking lots, such in that nature. If that's the case, I also need to look at my packaging and my labeling. Do I have more than one product? Do they all have the same packaging, and do they all have the same labeling? Now, typically, for instance, we're going to use McDonald's as an example. You want your branding, which is your logo, your company, to be consistent. That is what a brand is. And they typically have the same consistency when it comes to packaging, labeling, and then also all this, even though they have different products within McDonald's, they're still packaging them relatively the same. So, chicken nuggets versus a Big Mac may have different cardboard packaging, but it's still inconsistent and matching, kind of like creating an attire for your company, which I personally feel is the fun part of doing the business. Some people don't like it, and that's fine. But Product strategies, you got to think about we've already talked about the product mix, but when you understand the features and benefits of your product, it makes everything else fall in line a lot better and a lot easier. So it helps you determine, what product lines are appropriate. So, for instance, if you have a boutique and, you start out, you got men's, women, and children clothing. And maybe you decide that you want shoes to go with that. But when you do the research, you find out that shoes, with the packaging, the distribution of receiving the product and, selling the product, whether you're shipping it and selling online versus in the store, maybe that product, the shoe product line, does not fit for your strategy, which is the reason why we do planning and business plans, so that you as an entrepreneur are able to figure out what is financially, you want to make money, so what is financially feasible for what I'm doing, whether I'm creating something with my hands, a service. I'm so sorry. How you're actually going to strategize your business and implement it and get it moving. But with marketing, you're not only doing that, but you're creating the packaging and the image that you want to present. We've all received something in the mail, whether it's Amazon, Walmart, whatever. We've all received something. And, I've received some really cool packages in the mail from different sellers. And I'm going to use a purse as an example. I purchased a purse and, I got it online. And instead of it just coming in a brown cardboard box, when I opened that box, it was in a beautiful box, similar to like a Tiffany's jewelry. Everybody knows Tiffany's blue, the little blue box. But it was similar to that. And when I opened up the box, everything was in tissue paper and it was very, very prestigious. And there was a label on it that said, "Thank you for shopping small." And when I opened that, they took very good care and showed the pride of the product that I purchased for them. But not only did it make me feel special receiving it, but it made me feel like I had something even more special by the care that they took in placing it and shipping it, that they actually cared for their product. And that packaging and that image of their product made me want to buy from them again. And I told other people about this particular demonstration of how I received this. It was a talking piece. And that's exactly what you want to do. You want your customers to be talking. Okay, so with that being said, just kind of jumped right into the next one, but developing your company image and identity was just a good example of the purse that I had received. So there's different visualizations that come with this, and it really depends on your target and your placement. So with that being said, you always want to have a logo. And I would recommend that you get it professionally designed. It's pretty inexpensive to get your logo, but you're designed by a graphic artist. But it gives a visualization of your business to the world. You are now creating, everybody knows McDonald's, the big golden arches, that is their logo. And it changes over time, but yet it still stays consistent. No matter how they change it, you still know that it's McDonald's. And that is what we're creating with your logo. And that's why it's important to hire a graphic artist. Now, you can find things online where you can design them your own and things of that nature. However, they may not be as unique as you want them to be with your business. I recommend hiring a graphic artist, because that logo is then going to go on your business cards, your letterhead, your website, your social media accounts. And there are so many different social media accounts now. You want to make sure that when they see this logo of yours, that they know it's yours. It's going to be on clothing that you have. Maybe you have a tablecloth for trade shows. That logo is going to go on everything that you can visually put that logo on, and you want to make sure that it's able to be seen easily and fluently by all of your target market. So if you have an older target market, your demographic is 60 and above, you're dealing now with older, wiser eyes. All of our eyes start to change differently as we age. So you want to keep that in mind. I know, I wear glasses occasionally. I can't see real far away. Sometimes I can come up with some crazy words if I don't have my glasses on from signs that I see, like, what did that say? Because it blurs. And so you want to make sure that your visualization is not going to be construed into ways that you don't want it to be. So that's why I recommend a graphic artist, and to, ask different people what they feel about how your logo makes them feel, what they see, what they think. And it's really hard not to take that personally, but you're working with a graphic artist, they'll typically give you 3 to 5 different choices, and take a vote, make it fun. It's a great way to launch a new brand, is by putting it out on social media and making a contest out of it and letting your consumers be a part of that process. You would be surprised. And even your family, you may have business partners, you may have lots of business partners, depending on how your business is structured. And it's very important that you keep them involved and that you ask, because what you might like might not be what everybody else likes, even though it's your business. You want to attract people to your business, and maybe they're going to see something different than what you do, because you're on the inside looking out when they're on the outside looking in. So it's always nice to get different perspectives. Does anybody have any questions or comments at this time? You're all so quiet today. That's okay. So I guess that just means that we're going to move very quickly through all of this. So I know that marketing can seem a little overwhelming. And there are a lot of free programs, especially since 2020 COVID broke out. It seems like almost all universities are putting things online for free. But you may or may not be familiar with a company called HubSpot. I'll put it in the chat box for you. But they offer free marketing classes. And I apologize. I don't know what happened to my menu. There it goes. And they have I'm going to say probably over 30 different free marketing classes where you can actually receive a certificate for different venues, whether it be just marketing 101 or social media marketing, content creation. It just really depends on how you plan and what vehicles you decide you're going to use, and how you're going to use those vehicles to get your product marketed to your consumers, because otherwise they are not going to know where to find you. Let me go ahead and put this in the chat box if I can find it. Chat. And if you just go to their website, you can go into training. Now they do have some things that you can take that you can pay for, but typically they have a lot of places that a lot of online marketing tools. I know as the marketing and communications director here for the Chamber of Commerce, I do a lot of the social media, and I've taken many of these classes and used this website as a platform, as well as other digital media companies use this as well. And if you have any questions at all, you can always give us a call and look that up. But okay, so first and foremost, we want to talk about customer essentials. So you always want to thank your customers. You want to thank them for coming to your business, coming to you. You want to ways to get your customers involved. We talked about the contest, but you can educate your customers about your product and service. I know, to use as an example, we got Tara Viola on here. Hi, Tara. She educates her customers about autism, and she does a very well job. So thank you, Tara. But she answers questions. If she doesn't have the answer, she'll find it, and she's talking in the chat. You're welcome. You're welcome to turn on your microphones and have a conversation. But I know that Tara has been a client and has done a lot. She did she did a series a few years ago, and she created her business plan. She went through the same step process that you're going through now, and she competed in what we called Lima Shark Tank, which we then changed to Pitch Fest. And she has received numerous amounts of support. Tara, if you want to, take a few seconds and tell us exactly how it's been, 3 years now, I think?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Been 3
Yes.
years?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's been 3 years now. Honestly, the best part was just the experience of going through the whole pitch and the getting up in front of everybody, because at that time Autism Life Center wasn't very big. We were just starting out. So it's hard sometimes to put something that you've worked so hard for and it's your dream and you want it so much. It's hard to share it openly with people that have no stake in the game. You're going to get honest support, honest feedback, and that vulnerability was very hard. But
Yeah.
that was the best part, just getting up there and sharing, and the support that Kathy and you guys have given us has just helped us out tremendously. Thank you for your kind words.
Yeah, thank you, Tara, for your kind words, and congratulations on your success. It is very hard to be vulnerable with your baby, because it is similar to a child. I mean, it is your creation. But with that being said, we're going to jump right into the customer may not always be right, but he or she is always the customer. So whether or not you may agree with that particular customer, keep in mind that they're still a customer. They're your customer, and how you treat that customer, whether you're thanking them, providing opportunity, and following up with them is how you're treating your customer, and that's very important to keep in mind. So my question to you is how will you decide to sell your products and services? What is your distribution system going to be? Are you selling online? Are you opening a brick and mortar? If you're selling online, where is your product or service? How are they finding you? Are you doing it at home? Last week we had talked about, some particular jurisdictions will not allow home-based businesses. So, if you're not allowed to have a home-based business because of traffic or whatever their ordinance is and reasoning for that, where will you distribute your product or service otherwise? Conducting public relations and networking services, that's an activities, that's, being a member of the Chamber of Commerce. We do a lot of networking activities where we're able to connect you with other businesses and business owners to help, not only launch your business, but to make those connections that you might not be able to make with. Same with your service clubs. There's multiple different avenues when it comes to networking on what type of PR and networking activities you can get in touch with. We hold press releases or press conferences. So maybe you are creating a press release and you're going to announce it at a press conference. Maybe you hold one of your own press conferences. Maybe you just send your press releases to the media, whether it be newspaper, television, radio stations, but you still have to gather that information. And then, are you going to advertise? How are you going to advertise? And how are you going to serve your customer? We have a question. Oh, there it is. Volunteering at events. Yes, thank you. That's a very good one. You know, volunteering at events, meeting new people, sharing. It doesn't have to be formal. And you're right, it does not have to be formal. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because a lot of your service clubs, they require, you know, you have opportunities to do volunteering with them. That's informal. You can volunteer. Even the Chamber of Commerce, we have volunteer opportunities as well. That's not always formal. But yeah, health fairs, disability fairs. Tara, you're a wonderful example of a lot of information and also a resource. So if you have questions, you can also reach out to Tara as well. But earlier I had mentioned where you can get like your customer profile. Well, HubSpot also has a downloadable form called Make My Persona. And that is where you're actually creating your customer profiles on what your customer looks like, how they act, what they buy. So when you think of your product or service and you're going through the motions and you're open and you're ready to send this out to the world and make money, what do your ideal customers look like? What are the people that, you know, and I'm not talking about just facade, like the outside facade, you know, what do they enjoy? You know, what type of groups do they belong to? How do they spend? Are they, you know, if I'm a healthcare professional and I'm opening up a gym, the majority of my customers are either one, going to be interested in getting healthy and a healthy lifestyle. I'm most likely, you know, when you get into your social media, there's ways that you can target specific interests that people may have. So if I'm selling shoes, I'm going to try to find people, you know, with that are customers of my competitor. And, you know, we've done this homework already, so it will be easier for me to actually find them and for them to find me. You know, the easier for them to find me, the less work you have to do. So with that being said, we're talking about being online. You definitely want to check out what is Google My Business. And there's a YouTube link. I will also send the handout slides to you, so you'll have all these links that you can just click on. But we here at the Chamber offer a free program with Google as a partnership called Grow with Google. And we help get your business online with Google and make sure that it's correct, how to update these listings, because I don't know about you, but when I'm trying to find something, I Google it. If I have a question, you know, having a conversation with one of my friends last night, she told me about a situation and I wanted to know more about it. So I Googled it when I'm talking to her. And, you know, whether you're using Bing, Yahoo, it doesn't really matter which engine you're using, but you're still searching. And in order to be found, you want to get on Google My Business. It's free. And Google is the biggest search engine on the planet currently. So now we're going to get into promoting your business. And I apologize if you have any questions, please stop me at any time. I want to make sure that we get through this content as quickly as possible so that I can answer any questions at the end of this. And I don't want to move too fast for you. So by all means, if you have a question, please just either shoot it through the chat or turn on your microphone and ask me. So promoting your business. To a small business, promotion and advertising is a very critical part of communicating with the customer. In fact, by keeping in touch, especially in this last year, is how you're able to stimulate the demand of your products and reinforce the customer's image of the business by letting them know why they should buy from you. So, and when we went on shutdown in the state of Ohio, um, pretty much the majority of businesses had to reevaluate how they're going to communicate with their customers, what product and service they're going to offer to their customers. I'm going to use restaurants as an example because we all know, one, we still need to eat, and they weren't allowed to have indoor dining. So not only did they just do drive-through and carry out, but they had to come up with ways with how they could communicate with their customers to, one, make them feel safe to do so, two, make it convenient for them to do so. And my personal opinion is, if 2020 didn't teach us anything else other than to learn more about technology, then, and of course, among many other things, but it definitely drove us deep dive into stepping up our technology game, whether that be personally and professionally. But entrepreneurs, especially, all over the world, had to change how they communicate with their customer and what tactics they were using to do so. Was that email? Was it through a YouTube channel? Did they go do Facebook Live? What elements and tactics did they enforce in order to keep their customers? Did they send them a card? So how did they communicate with their customer, and how are you going to communicate with your customer? So we're going to talk about PR, which is public relations. I had mentioned that earlier, and I apologize if you're not quite familiar with what that is. Public relations is advertising without paid advertising. So for instance, if you put out a press release, you can, if you have the information, send that press release by email to your local media or surrounding media. Even if so your target market isn't Allen County or the state of Ohio, maybe it's more on a national scale. By doing your research, you're able to find how you can reach and what avenues to send your press releases to. So for instance, if I want to talk about a new sports equipment that I have just manufactured, we'll use lacrosse since it's not real big in this area. I have a new lacrosse bat and I want to send it to California. I need to research how I can get that information out to people in California. And I could do so by a press release. I could put it out, and it's usually then regurgitated into being on the newspaper, on the radio, on TV, and other people's newsletters. A lot of my communications is I take what the members want to say and press out to the community and compile that into a newsletter and then send it out to our membership base, which of course the media gets a hold of as well. So it helps people find different stories. We talked about contests. You can do contests, you can do drawings, you can do giveaways. That's a great way to get some free attention. You can also, when you're volunteering, you have the opportunity to, not only are you making connections, but you have the opportunity then just word of mouth, tell the people that you're connecting with about your particular business, and also how that works. Also sponsoring different activities, that gives you some good PR. Stories, a lot of people blog, for instance, Pioneer Woman. I used to work for a company that worked with KitchenAid, and I got to have a conversation with Pioneer Woman, and she did a guest blog for our company. And this was back in, oh boy, I'm going to say probably 10 years ago. And this was before she even had her TV show. And, just by her blogging, to know her story, with her blogging her recipes and then moving into her television show. And now, she's got a whole product line, and she even has dog and cat food. So you would be surprised what that free PR can bring to you. But the most important part about advertising is who. You want to make sure that you're talking to the right audience. You want to make sure that you're saying the right message, because there's times I can create an email and have an event and I know exactly who my target is, but if I don't have the right message, they're not going to open my email. Right time. There are different times that emails are read versus when they're not. Same as social media posts. There are different times where they're more apt to be seen than they're not. Your target market might be daytime workers in the healthcare field, and they're typically working during the day, and they're not going to see your email a whole lot during, depending on their particular characteristics of your customer will depend on when you want to send these messages, how you want to say them, when you want to say them, where you're going to say it. For instance, I'm in my office right now, and I could do this anywhere in the world, but it might not be appropriate if I was actually sitting on a beach and I had the beach in behind me, which I don't think anybody would care not to see, because I think it'd be a great backdrop. But is it appropriate for me to do this particular class sitting on a beach in a swimsuit, or here at work in the office? And then how much are you willing to spend? What's the right amount to spend? Do you need to spend? What are you able to afford to spend? Because some things, such as radio commercials, TV commercials, even social media posts, cost money. And how much are you able to spend? And if you're not, because you don't really have a big giant budget for it, what are the ways and tactics that you're going to go around about trying to get seen and heard by your customers, or your future customer base is what you want? So these are some different scenarios that Kathy and I like to talk about, which is kind of funny. So it just gives you a play on words. This auto repair service, free pickup and delivery. That's awesome. And then it says, try us once, you'll never go anywhere again. Well, I kind of want to drive my car again. So I don't know if that's exactly where I want to get my car repaired, even though I'm pretty sure that what they were trying to say is once you try their auto repair service, you'll never want to go to another auto repair service. However, they've just made it that you're never going anywhere again, so they might not necessarily fix your car. And then, of course, you got the Mount Kilimanjaro, the breathtaking backdrop for the Serena Lodge, swim in the lovely pool while you drink it all in. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. But it's just, different ways that you say things mean different things. So my favorite, I think, is number 4, where it's a dinner special. Your turkey is $2.35, chicken or beef is $2.25, and children are $2. I don't know about you, but I don't want to eat my child, but I would like to be able to feed my children for $2. But just those simple things can make or break your message that you're sending out to your customers and even future customers. Somebody may have been very offended by some of these things, but we're going to go on down, because I'm tired of cleaning myself, tired of cleaning yourself. And they're talking about tired of cleaning your house. It's a house, a maid service. And then they're like, tired of cleaning yourself, let me do it. Well, maybe they're not a house cleaning service. Maybe they're actually like a home health service. But just those different plays on words are very, very important. We've all seen them. And I'm sure you have quite a few of them running in your head right now. So keep that in mind. It's always great to have 2 other people read your stuff, because you have it in your head and you look at it all the time. You might not have even noticed that happened. It happens a lot. So with that being said, we had talked about some things throughout this way. So we're now going to get into various ways that your business can be promoted. We talked about your logo. Your logo goes on your checks, your business cards, your website, your social media, your stationery. I mean, it can even be a handy rubber stamp that you stamp the box with before you send it out. Or, and we talked about the graphic designer giving you 3 to 5 different options, but it's always nice to have these logos in different sizes. If you're not able to resize them yourself for different platforms, you can use a handy dandy graphic artist studio called Canva, canva.com. Helps with a lot of these things. However, I do highly recommend working with a graphic artist first. Signs, if you can afford it, you can put them in your yard. You can have banners. You can get magnets for your car. You can, even ask different businesses if they'll let a sign be placed in their yard. But you have to make sure that you find out about zoning. Yes, always ask for the vector art of your graphic from your graphic artist, because that is print capable and it's definitely needed. Thank you, Rodney, for that. It is very, very important, because just because you have, a JPEG file or a PNG file, if you're putting it on print, such as your business cards, embroidery, or even a big banner, you don't want it to be pixelated, blurry, or stretched out. So you definitely need a vector file, which is an EPS file. And typically you won't be able to open that file. It will look like a code, but your print shop and printer that you send it to will be able to do that for you. Big time is word of mouth. We talked about how you service your customer. Your customer service is huge. So if you send a thank you note, like when I opened up the box and I saw the sticker that said, "Thank you for shopping small and buying local," it made me feel good that I helped them and that they took pride in it. And I told everybody, you should have seen this box. Word of mouth, for every one person, they tell 10, and then those 10 people tell 10, and you want to be a good rumor. You want to make your business a good rumor, because we all know how rumors fly, and we all like to hear good things, and right now is the best time. So be the good rumor. You can also use mail and publicity. You can talk to your local newspaper. If you're doing like a grand opening, we do a lot of ribbon cuttings here at the chamber. So, that's a great word of mouth, because you're doing a grand opening celebration. Not only are you letting your community know that you're open, but you're inviting them to come visit you. And typically the media is going to be there as well, and guests, your family members, and whoever else you invite to come check out your place. I did tell you about Canva earlier. Here, they do have a design school that will help you. It is free, and it's awesome. You got to check it out. And then I know we're getting close on time, so I'm going to start going really, really fast. You can do especially advertising, like we talked about, the car magnets. You could do shopping bags, the little labels that were placed on my tissue paper in my box, bookmarkers, different things. So be creative. Even people that don't feel that they're creative still have the creative gene in them and may think of something that's never been done. So don't be shy. You have to, try it, but word of mouth promotion is going to be your number one. Team and sponsorship, community activities, being a part of sponsoring a specific event is a great way to get your name out into the community. They hear it. They're like, "Oh, I've never heard of that. I wonder what that's about." And, you can have it, say if it's on digital, it can click back to your website, and you get visualization that way, because people are visiting your site. But social media, there's multiple sources. I'm going to go through them fast, because even since this, it's changed. So Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest. Do you remember MySpace? Did you know it still exists? And maybe you don't, and that's fine. But that was probably one of the, I wouldn't say first, but it was pretty big. We got Google Plus, and then you're going to get into some like DeviantArt, Live Journal, Tagged, and then now we got Red Egg, and just depending on where your customer base is going to depend on what social media outlet you're coming to. So once again, I want to remind you about the free marketing classes that you can take at HubSpot, and then also these are just a few ways to promote. And when you worked on your SWOT analysis last week, you saw what your competitors are doing. It's nice to piggyback off of that. We like to call it recycle and reuse, and not to actually copy it, because you can get in big trouble for that. So I recommend, please don't copy what they're doing. Find, maybe you like their idea of what they're doing, but find a way to make it your own. It's very impersonal, very professional, and important for you to personalize it unique to your own business, because your business is unique, because it's unique to you. I'm going to go through this. Don't forget, location is one of the keys to success when it comes to building your business. So I'm going to open it up for questions right now, and unshare my screen so you're not sitting there staring at it, and go from there. So last week you worked on up to section 4, I believe. And what's really awesome is doing your SWOT analysis helps you dramatically with the next section, which is 5, creating your marketing plan. So you're going to get into describing your products and services. You're going to do a deep dive of your customer analysis and your competitive analysis. You're also going to look at pricing. And what I would recommend is, when you're looking at pricing for your marketing avenues, keep copies of that, because it'll help you later for your financial analysis and your cash flow. And then that way you can figure out, the research is already, you're doing the research already, so just keep a hold of it so that you could use it later. And then of course it's going to ask you about your marketing potential, which is your trade area, pricing, promotional strategies, and you'll be interested to find that you're almost done. You've almost got this plan completed. But we will talk about finances next week and get into a dive on that. So if you haven't started your business plan, or you're falling a little behind on it, by all means, if you have questions, reach out to us. You can always reach out to us by email, and send your business plan that you have done now, and send it to Kathy so that she could check it out and review it. And she's got a wealth of information. She's got great ideas. She might think of something that you haven't thought of yet. And then, Audra, is there something else I need to know about the free marketing on HubSpot training? It is training. It's free training. When you get to their website, let me see if I can get in there. Like I had mentioned earlier, there is training available, which is going to be under resources. Now you could pay for their services as well, but they have education. It's called resources, and then go to education, free courses, and certifications. And you can pick where you want to start. Me personally, if you've never done it before, just go to levels. Let me just share my screen here again for you guys. Okay, so when you get to HubSpot, okay, you're in HubSpot, all right? You want to click here to resources. Go to education, free courses and certifications. And when you click on that, there's levels right here and it says beginner. And if you click on those, it's going to find all of your classes that you're available for. And, you know, it tells you how many classes, how long the course is. You can get certifications. Some of their certifications are free, but this is a lot of information that can help you in that area. All right, you're welcome. So I hope everybody had a wonderful Easter weekend, and we're going to experience beautiful weather this week. So I hope everybody gets out to enjoy it. And I'm going to remind you again, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll see you next Tuesday at 10 and hope to see these business plans soon. Thank you. Have a great week.